Hello, my name is Eric, and I've been wanting to make a video like this for a while, so I finally decided to. To anyone out there who's being bullied for being gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, whatever the case may be, or just bullied, period, just know that it does get better. It's a lot better. We're all taught from a young age, we all hear when we're younger that life is unfair. And the fact is that it is. There's always gonna be negative people in your life. There's always gonna have things are always gonna go wrong. Things are never gonna go your way 100% of the time. But you can't let it affect you. You can't let it get you down, because the more you let it get you down, the more you're gonna be depressed. The more you're going to isolate yourself. And that's the worst possible thing you could do, is have these negative thoughts and isolate yourself. And that's what causes most people to try to kill themselves. And committing suicide is not the answer. Believe me. Briefly, I'll explain my little story. I've known I was gay since I was a little kid. And I was always in denial about it. I was straight for years and dated girls, whatever. I guess I was ashamed of myself. I thought being gay would define who I was, and don't ever let it define who you are, because it does not define who you are. It's one little part of who you are. And honestly, it doesn't matter. If people don't care, just don't have them in your life. Leave them in the past. You gotta leave the past in the past. That's one of the biggest things I had to learn, because you can't change the past. You gotta leave it in the past, and you gotta focus on the future. But I've known I was gay since I was a kid. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't come out till I was 20. No one knew. I didn't tell any of my friends. I didn't tell any of my family members. I never had like a little online thing with the guy. I didn't want anyone to find out, so I never told a soul. But one day I just woke up and I was just so tired of being unhappy, so I told my mom. She was the very first person I told, and then I told the rest of my family and all my friends, and this is when I was 20. I was just so tired of being unhappy and depressed, and I'm so glad I did. It was like once the words finally came out of my mouth, the biggest weight off of my shoulders was lifted, and I always said, because growing up, I always isolated myself. I never really made a lot of friends. In high school, I never talked. I was the quiet, shy guy in the back of the classroom. I was always scared that people would know who I was, so I could never be myself. And after I finally came out, I was like, you know what, I'm going to start living life the way I wanted to. I'm going to start being more social. I'm going to start being more outgoing. I'm going to start talking to people, because now I can be who I am, because I'm not ashamed of it anymore. And I told myself I was going to do that, and I never did. I was back to being my shy self. I was back to sitting in my room, isolating myself, living on Netflix. Like, it was sad, but and at this time, my parents had just gone through a really bad divorce, and I was just done with everything. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna kill myself. And so one morning, I thought about it all night, and I woke up to go to work. And instead of going to work, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna drive my car into a tree, and that's exactly what I did. I went down a street, went through a dead end. Saw all these trees in a field. I saw one, I lined my car up to it, I hit the gas, I closed my eyes, and I just went for it. At the very last second, it was seriously the very last second, I'm like, I don't want to do this. I slammed on the brakes, opened my eyes, banged into the tree. I blacked out for a little bit. There wasn't that much wrong with me, just some bumps and bruises. I had my neck was hurting for a few weeks, but that was mainly it. Um, once the cops got there, they took me to the hospital, and then when I told them exactly what happened, they took me to a psychiatric hospital where I was locked in there for 10 days. And it sucked. And once I got in there, I'm like, you know what? I gotta start changing my life. I gotta start being who I am. I don't need to let being gay define who I am. And now it doesn't. It's just one little part of who I am. It doesn't define who I am. I'm just so much happier now. I can be myself. I'm much more social. I'm much more talkable. I think people like me even better. I don't know. But just know, whatever you're going through, it does get better. And please don't try to take your life, because it is not worth it. I am so happy that I am alive. You have no idea. I am so happy that I can say I failed at something. I failed at trying to kill myself. And you know what? I am so proud that I am alive. Like, seriously, love your life. Like, I have a tattooed on me. Love life. Because it's the only chance you get. You get this one life and that's it. And most of us, we fuck it up. But that's part of life. Make mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. But don't try to change yourself. Don't try to let anyone tell you you're not allowed to be who you were born to be. Love yourself. Love your life. Have fun with it. Don't... Just know that it does get better. It gets so much better. And it's not worth taking your life for. There's always going to be people out there who love you and accept you for exactly who you are. And you just got to find those people. Lots of people, their family aren't supportive of who they are. And I was just blessed that my entire family is very supportive of me. But just know that whether they never support you ever, you're always going to have people that are. You're always going to have people who love you for who you are. And just know that we are out here, people who will love you. I remember I used to watch these It Gets Better videos all the time, and they always made me feel better about myself. They always gave me some confidence for the day, and that's just what I want to do. If just one person can watch this video and just be like, okay, I don't need to do this, it will get better. That's all I'm trying to do. But just know that it does get better. I've had my fair share of being bullied. In 2 years of school, I missed 96 days because I just hated school, hated going, was bullied all the time. I can make myself be sick just thinking about it, and I would stay home all the time. But that was in the past. Like I said before, you have to leave the past in the past, because if you don't, it'll just haunt you forever. And that's mainly what I did. I always wish I had lived my childhood differently. I would have came out earlier. I would have been accepting of myself way before. Would have done things differently, but I didn't. But that made me who I am, and I'm proud to say that I am who I am, and that none of that stuff matters anymore. So I left the past in the past, and you just got to keep going. So just know that it does get better. It gets so much better. And you will be so glad that you're alive, and so glad that you didn't try to take your life. We all go through hard times, but life does get better. It really does. It's a beautiful thing. It's the only thing you really got. You live and you die. Have fun. Like, don't let anyone get you down, because people will get you down. But it gets so much better. Just know that. And from one person to another, I love everyone for who you are. Love.